All right, y'all. So we are at the mid-season finale of season 2 of the Love and Marriage DC. All right, we got a lot to talk about on this one because a lot happened in this season finale, and I felt like it had been building for quite some time. And I'm going to go ahead and rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give it a 10. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be feeling like, oh my God, it was negative and whatnot, and woo, ding, woo, ding, woo, yada, yada, yada. Yes, there was a little bit of an altercation, a lot of B words being called, but it really, to me, wasn't exactly that they were arguing. It was what they were arguing about in this episode that made it so interesting to me. And so I got to give it a 10 because I don't think I've ever seen an argument related to this particular topic because it was kind of breaking the fourth wall. And I feel like there was really no way to stop it from happening once it started. Like you couldn't cut around that. And honestly, there was no need to because we as an audience needed to see it because I almost felt like we were getting a peek into what could have gone down behind the scenes. Like I feel like back in the day, this argument never would have made the air as much as it did, or they would have chopped and screwed it so much so that we would have really missed some of those elements. Y'all know because back in the day, they didn't really like to give you guys the behind the scenes tea of who is, arguing with who is allegedly jealous of who brought who onto the show and all that types of things. So to me, this was novel, and that is what made this so interesting. So it's not just about the fact that there was some argumentation happening, but it was also some reveals behind the scenes that I'm like, ooh, now this is juicy. I actually got to watch that last maybe like 20 minutes all over again because I had to keep stopping and pausing and making notes and all this and whoop-de-whoop. So anyway, you guys let me know what you would rate it down in the comment section down below. I would be very, very interested. Also, there was some comedy in this episode, baby, but we're going to talk about it as soon as we get to those parts. Now that I've given you the rating, I want you guys to tell me what your rating for this Ponderosa is. Let me know in the chatterization down below. All right, so we're on episode 10, season 2. We started Ashley and Quick's house. They're doing a party bus for their daughter Ashton and her friends to take them to the Black Hair Expo. They've apparently rented it out and she's turning 10. This was nice because it really does get into the Black girl magic of it all and the celebration of Black women's hair. But during the adult Ponderosa part of it, she is talking to Alicia and Quick, and she kind of recaps running into Joy at Winter's emancipation. Also, we didn't get any Winter in this episode, and for it to be like a mid-season finale, I do feel like since she's part of the main cast, she wasn't really even actually in the episode at all. She was just referenced for her Romancipation event, which was really a heavily centered Winter episode, and it was nice to see. But anyway, we get into why Joy did not hug her, and Ashley is upset that this argumentation between them has lingered for so long, and now she's annoyed. Now, let me say this, and I gotta say this because I gotta be real. In my opinion, if you do something to me and then I need time to process and figure out the level of trust that we are going to have between us moving forward, you, even though you apologize for it, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to accept it the moment that you apologize, because I still need to process my hurt. And I think that that is what Ashley is missing. I do get that Ashley feels like she's giving her some time, but it is the statement of being annoyed that I find a bit problematic, because how you going to be annoyed with somebody when you reveal something that they told you in secret on national television? Like, you can't be annoyed about the fact that you did something to her. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys saw the interview that I did with the Tylers the other day, but Jamie made a good point. The onus also has to lie on Joy as well for revealing that information to someone that she wasn't necessarily as cool with, or somebody that she was still building that level of friendship with. And to top that off, we got the reveal last episode that Clifton had actually told her that Ashley was going to use it against her. So there's a lot that's at play here in this relationship with Ashley and Joi that is much deeper than meets the eye, and we're going to get all the way into it at towards the end of this episode. But I do feel like Ashley is wrong in the sense of, like, you can be annoyed basically because your feelings are your feelings. I cannot police Ashley's feelings. However, I do just think that when you are the person who is doing the apologizing, you cannot demand or have any type of expectation on the person's timeline for forgiving you, because there's two aspects to the apology. There's the apology, and then there's the actual act of forgiveness. And if she ain't there yet, you got to wait until she get there. Period. But after you apologize, there's really nothing else you can do but give it time. So Ashley and Quick wisely tell her that you can't force her to accept the apology, but is like she won't be apologizing anymore. Now, that is also something that I feel like can be true as well. Like, if you've apologized several times and you were sincere in doing so, then I feel like you've done your part. You have to allow that person the time and the space to get over it or not. Period. So meanwhile, Erana stops by Joi's house and we learn that Clifton has just had surgery and he's still in the hospital. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but a part of me would have enjoyed seeing a bit more of Clifton throughout this season. I feel like I like his personality. For me, I'm enjoying the fact that, he is an entrepreneur. He's got the fashion line with Carmen, and he's also got his own beard oil line. So to me, I feel like we've been missing a little bit of an element with that. And maybe it has been due to those ongoing back issues. But I feel like we've been able to chronicle Quick's issues in such a way that I feel like we have lost a little bit of Clifton's issues as well. I mean, how does he co-parent with, his kid's mom? And how does that relationship work with Joi? Do they get along? What's the basis for the business that he and Carmen do? How does their friendship work coming from the Ready to Love world? These are elements that I want to see more of next season, because I do think that there's a lack of comfortability that Joi may have with the current cast, feeling like she is a newcomer and obviously still on guard with like the Sherelle and the Black, even though coming from somebody that knows Sherelle and I'm getting to know Black even more, they are such peaceful and good people that I feel like if Joi could let go of some of that hurt from whence she was in the band, and I know that is probably still personal to her, and I think we're still getting to know Joi a bit better, which I find very interesting because she is a very complex reality TV character that I do like. So I think she's turning into a great addition to the show because she isn't consistent. And I know that sounds bad, but I also think that it's also human. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm kind of enjoying this ride, and really kind of getting to see who she and Clifton are, and also learning who they are also through some of their compadres like the Carmens and like the Danielle, who we will meet later in this episode. Anyway, Joi is still pissed with Ashley. Now, the producers ask her why she kept us a secret, and she says that they were planning a public celebration with the world, but they wanted to share when they would do it themselves. Now, here's the thing, though. You on a reality TV show. Now, girl, like, I know this is your first rodeo on an ensemble cast where it's not regarding the dating situation, because I'm assuming that when you were on Ready to Love, you kind of come in, you film, all y'all together, woo, and then you can go home to your regular life and do what you got to do. But this ain't that type of show. This is the type of show where you got to get involved, okay? And personally speaking, as I said it before, so I won't beat a dead horse, girl, you might as well have just said, listen, we married. We did the thing on Good Day DC. We got married right after that. we keeping it from our family and friends, because guess what? By the time your family and friends see this, it could have been a celebration that they was invited to that you guys could have filmed at the end of the season. Boom. Easy breezy. Lemon squeezy. So Erana thought that they were going to have a conversation at the Romantication event, but Joy feels like Ashley can't rush that conversation, and she will have the conversation when she is ready. And Erana is pushing for a conversation, as Erana does. And Joy wishes that she would stop pushing it. I feel like Erana just be wanting people to talk and have these conversations, because honestly, that's what you need, somebody on the cast that forces people to have conversations. And I feel like Erana has taken up that mantle. Now, whether that's going to work in her favor or not, we will soon find out, okay, in this episode. And let me tell you, it is not going to work out. And it has not been working out for her all season. So I don't know what she's going to do next season, but they always say the messenger gets shot. Meanwhile, Erana recaps that Ashley revealed the information because of the fake and phony comment. And Joy is calling BS and thinks that Ashley really wanted to do that in front of an audience to get revenge on her for that alleged fake and phony accusation. Now, Erana says it's effed up that Ashley, did this, and she knows it. And Erana feels like she's caught in the middle. And she says that Ashley doesn't want her in the middle, okay? Now, Joy is grateful that she knows who Ashley is now, and she doesn't think that Ashley feels bad that she said what she said, and she knew that what she did was wrong. And Joy is not ready to be in a space with Ashley at the group event. Now, we got to get into this. Erana knew, as I suspected, and if you guys watched my interview with Erana and Jamie, I asked point blank, did you or did you not know that Joy was married? Because in my mind, if Erana and Joy are so close, you couldn't pay me to think that she would have told Ashley that via text message, but not told Erana. Now, she told Erana in person, and so remember, I always say it, forget it, write it, regret it. She put it in a text message to Ashley, and we saw that text message on the screen. This information was told to Erana face to face, and Erana, being the friend that she is, decided that she would never mention it. And even in the scene, she acted like, oh my goodness, is this true? Oh God, my goodness, no. Listen, I told y'all earlier, that's what I would have done, because that's just how I feel about it. You tell me something, you tell me not to say nothing, I ain't saying nothing. That goes for what I do on this here platform. A reality TV star tell me something and they say don't say nothing. Guess who not saying nothing? Me. And then if it come up, gasp, I didn't know. So I just feel like relationships, for me in this business, relationships are key. And I feel like people, when they know that they can trust you with information, then they're more willing to open up and share things. And so you stay in the know, but you don't tell nobody, okay? Because when you tell me something, it's going right into this ear and it's never coming out again. Meanwhile, unless you tell me to tell it. Meanwhile, Quick goes to the doctor to see the specialist. His hiccups are gone. The tests come back normal, and he's got a second opinion, and things are very normal. They still don't know what was wrong with him, but he does FaceTime Ashley with the good news, but he still ain't gonna slow down. I feel like the man's name is Quick, okay? So that should tell you something right there. He ain't gonna slow down because his name ain't Slow Silver, it's Quick Silver. So the man gonna always be on the move. Well, whether or not the health thing is a problem or not, and trust and believe, let me tell y'all something. I don't blame him, okay? I don't blame him. Now, I try to tell you, I'm going to do a video on my other channel about this. Hustle culture is, it's a silent killer. I know this. I understand it. But baby, let me tell you something. When you didn't had nothing, been down to your last, when you done had your car repossessed, thought you weren't going to have no place to live, and when you then been down in the valley and felt like all hope was lost, when you finally get to the point where you get some work and you pop in and stuff like that, guess what you don't want to do? You don't ever want to go back to that place that you was at before where you ain't had no money and you was destitute, okay? What's the name of that song that they sing in church? I went down in the valley one day to pray and I couldn't hear nobody pray. That's what you be feeling like, okay? So I understand it. And a part of that is a little bit of PTSD, I think, that maybe he deals with because of the place where he came from and having to really do so much for himself. And so now he's at a point where can't stop, won't stop because, I got to provide for my family. I ain't going to ever be back in that place again. At least that's my assessment of it. I could be wrong, but that's my problem. So maybe I'm just putting it off on him. Meanwhile, Joy meets with her friend Danielle to vent. And again, I feel like we get to see a bit more of Joy through the eyes of the people that she really, really knows. And so they get into how everybody has been treating her, and she reveals what happened at the cycling class with Ashley. She says that at no point did she call Ashley fake and phony. She said it could appear that they are fake and phony because of the way that they were cackling about Sherelle's wig. So we got to get into a couple of things right there, because that is a little bit of a game of semantics, Miss Joy. Now, the insinuation is that y'all are fake and phony because y'all are cackling about y'all friend behind her back. Period. It is what it is. And I felt like those words fake and phony were used before. I can't remember if they were in the affirmative that they were or that they looked like it. But I know that she said to Alicia, allegedly, that they could seem fake and phony. But I don't know what Alicia heard, because her interpretation could have been y'all are fake and phony. For whatever the case is, let me say it like this. Let me ask y'all a question. Is it fake and phony if you talking about your friend's wig, but y'all still friends? Have you and your friend, another close friend, ever laughed at somebody else's hairstyle or wig that you friends with, but y'all still be friends with them? And if you have, is it fake and phony? Y'all let me know in the chatterization down below, because to a certain degree, I feel like there's a bit of like realness to that. Like, I ain't like my friend's wig, but I ain't tell her. You know what I'm saying? But I also think that when you are new to this circle and you see that happening, you are going to question, as any rational person would, if I see them laughing and cackling about somebody that they call their friend, why would I think that they would not laugh and cackle about me? So anyway, there's a lot layers to this thing. Meanwhile, you know, Ashley reveals that, aren't you and Clifton married? And, Danielle feels like it was calculated. And Joy says she's tired of being nice. And clearly she is. Okay. And she reveals that she can be an a-hole. Now, this is what I had heard about her prior to her joining the show. I had heard that people felt like she was kind of mean to some of the other people on the Ready to Love show. But that was hearsay because I didn't really watch the show. So when she called herself an a-hole, or at least a reformed one, I was like, oh, when I saw the flashbacks, I was like, okay, there it go. Okay, there it go. So anyway, over at Jamie and Erana's, she's arranged for a swallowologist to come over and give them tips on how to show each other what that mouth do. So the swallowologist, the lady got some exercises for them to do. Now, this involves fingers, okay? So the swallowologist but Jamie to basically stick out his finger, and then for Erana to put her mouth on that finger and show what that mouth do, okay? Now, I feel crazy talking about this right now, but this is what was happening in the scene, and I was cackling. I was through. I was too through with the visuals on the screen, okay? Because once Jamie go to put that mouth on that finger, no, first it's Erana, okay? And the visuals is like, okay, it's good. But Erana, she dusty at it. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean by not dusty, I mean rusty. But she rusty at it because she ain't done it in so long. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long it's been. It sounds like years and years and years and years. And so it might have been years and years and years and years since Jamie done it, because the visuals on his Baby, it looked like there was an alligator going to town on something. A dog was chewing on a bone. I mean, she had to tell him, man, these teethuses right here, these teethuses got to go when you doing this. And so the swallowologist, she basically tells them, y'all got to tell each other what y'all like in the moment. So they vow to do that. And hopefully they can get their relations on and into a better place now that they done seen the swallowologist. And there won't be no more teethuses involved. You know what I'm saying? Unless you like that sort of thing, which in my mind, it seemed like it might hurt. Anyway, it's the night of the Christmas Eve party, and Alicia was like, who coming? And Ashley's like, well, the Tylers and Sherelle, and Joy has made several announcements that she is not coming. And that's okay with me because I'm not apologizing to her anymore. So the Tylers arrive, Sherelle and Black arrive, and Sherelle is running from the Santa Claus because he looked like a giant Teletubby. Ashley gives Erana a giant D for getting the D back in her life and for putting the D at the end of their friendship, completing the cycle of them actually becoming friends. Did she speak too soon? Anyway, in comes Joy because the invitation was technically not rescinded. And also it's an all cast event, so I'm sure Joy was made to come. So when Ashley sees Joy into the party, she's like, now wait a minute now. I know Joy ain't into my house and ain't speak. So Ashley goes over so they can have a little talk and they head downstairs so they can have a ponderosa. Erana is just happy because that conversation that she was so heavily pushing is finally happening, much to her chagrin, trust and believe. So Ashley dives right in once they get downstairs, and it's just the two of them. Now, let me tell y'all something. In reality TV, I love a two-person ponderosa when it's just the two people involved and they got a problem that they got to hash out, baby. Y'all remember that time Cynthia and Portia got into it at that restaurante when Portia came late and Cynthia dragged her from up and down the stairs? Y'all remember that? Let me tell y'all something. Cynthia, now that I look back on it, Cynthia was a little underrated. You know what I'm saying? Because she could read the girls for filth sometimes and never would nary a hair out of place unless she was kicking Portia. But anyway, speaking of kicking, it's about to go down here too. So, Ashley dives right in. I texted you and you ignored me. And Joy's like, I needed time. But she hates that Ashley also burned a bridge before it could be built. It's under repair. So Ashley's like, oh, okay. And she's still on this fake and phony and that thing and that allegedly that Joy only rides for the Tylers. This is important. And so for Joy, it's like, you just want to stay mad. Is that it? She says that in her confessional. And Ashley's like, she can't rewind time. She's like, because you are already married. And Joy get to clap in her hands. And she's like, well, let me be the person to share that, not you. Ashley's like, listen, I apologize twice. And now you want to clap, clap, and stomp, stomp. But I can clap, clap, and stomp, stomp, too, with the best of them. At that point, Ashley putting down that drink. So Joy says they are no longer building a friendship, but they can be cool and chop it up. She's not comfortable with Ashley in the trust area. Now, I don't know if I would be comfortable either based on the scenario, but I definitely probably wouldn't have gone on the reality show and then told people something I didn't want nobody to know. So it take two to tango in this mess that they done made right here. So Ashley, at this point, I don't know what happened in between what Joy just said and what Ashley's going to say next. But Ashley's like, I brought you onto the show, not Erana and not Jamie. So you running up after them, but you ain't never even gave me a thank you. And Joy laughs and is like, you think you made me? Me and Clifton were already on a show before you. Ashley's like, well, that was a game show. Joy was like, I ain't even asked to be on this show. And that part is obvious, okay? I feel like On said, you know what? Monique and Chris are gone. We need somebody else that the people know. Joy and Clifton, y'all around here. Y'all come on over to this show because I feel like this is just my feeling, okay? And I'm going to be real with y'all. Again, I'm operating on very little sleep. I'm operating on fumes because I've had to do so many videos. I'm studying for my exams and I'm writing another book. So forgive me for my lack of patience. But I feel like On was like, listen, we need somebody that the people know. Who do people know? Okay, Joy and Clifton, they know them. They got a love story that people like and want to follow. Granted, I'm interested in it. I'm invested as well. I want to know more about what's going on with them too, so they ain't got to keep nothing secret next season. But at the end of the day, that's what I feel like happened. And I also feel like it probably, listen, if Ashley says she pitched them for the show, I definitely believe it because I feel like, Ashley to me, outside of the show, I feel like Ashley is invested in the success of the show. So I can see her pitching people since we, breaking fourth walls and things like that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because if you on a show, you need to make sure that that show is successful and it can be the very best that it can be, especially if you lose in a powerhouse like Monique. So you're going to need to bring in somebody that the people already know, and the people already knew Joi and Clifton. So let's get it popping. So anyway, Ashley's like, we pitched you multiple times and neither you nor Clifton have given us a thank you. And Ashley says, for whatever reason, I'm the person that pitched you, but y'all want to grab on to the Tylers, and that's fine. So this is an issue. Okay. We see this is an issue. Something, and this right here is something that should be definitely, we need a deeper dive into this. Joi says, well, the Tylers never asked for a thank you. And now Ashley's like, well, I'm demanding one now. So Joi tells her, you want to be friends on a show or effed up in real life? So somehow in a way, Joi utters the B word. And that's the wrong thing. I feel like Ashley turned into Tammy Roman, because Ashley get to coming around that table and they are really arguing at this point and screaming about this show, who pitched who wanted to do the show, and how they got on the show. And Joi tells Ashley, you are the person that wants this show. I don't even have to be here. And Ashley says, well, leave then. Joi says, well, good night. Ashley says, get the F out of here. Gets to stepping. So Joi tells her, no problem. And I think she's trying to gather her purse. But in the meanwhile, she's saying, B, you didn't make me. Okay. And so Ashley get to coming around that table again. And it looks like she put a little paw on her hand. That's what it looked like from my vantage point. But I can't tell, because Joi screams, Ashley, don't be touching on me. And here comes security. So then Joi is popping off and screaming about how she and Clifton were already something, and Ashley didn't make her. And then they take her up to the top of the stairs, and Joi delivers the final blow. Nobody knows you. They know quick. Nobody knows you, B. Mind you, this is all happening in Ashley's house. Okay, so that's what's crazy about this whole situation. Not only are we getting a view into like this breaking of the fourth wall in this argumentation, not only is it happening in Ashley's house, but she didn't call the woman multiple B's in her own home. This is wild. So apparently Ashley then took off her shoes, because Joi says she see a barefoot troll rolling up as they are trying to hold Ashley back. Meanwhile, Erana runs outside to check on Joi, who was just escorted out and is still cursing the people out. So Ashley tells Erana, well, you can get the F out too, since that's where you want to be. And Erana tries to tell, once outside, she tries to tell, Joi to come back in. Girl, this ain't Erana, let it go. Joi just wants to go home and see her husband. She don't mind saying it now since it's already out there. Joi feels like Ashley wanted to reflect from what she did, and she tells Erana and Jamie that Ashley is jealous of their friendship with Erana because the friendship is real. Back inside, the party has resumed, and Ashley is bopping and getting down. Sherelle is booty popping, and Erana wants to talk to Ashley, who is now downstairs. Ashley tells her to get the F out her face because she wanted to go check on Joi when Joi cursed her out in her own home. And Erana is like, I'm trying to check up on both of y'all. And Quick is trying to stop Ashley, and Ashley feels disrespected in her own home, and that Erana wanted to check on the wrong person. And that is how it ends, on a to be continued, with Ashley heading up them steps and Erana following her, and the two of them about to get into it. Baby, this was good. This was good. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, it's getting so negative. No, let me tell you something. This to me was a fight on television that I have never seen before. They are doing something on this show that when people look back at this show, they're going to remember that there were a lot of things that we have never seen on a reality TV show like this, in my opinion. So with that being said, y'all let me know what y'all think about it, and I will catch you in the next video.